Welcome back to Intro to Religion, PHL 1030. We're going over Tim Bayne's book, Philosophy of Religion, a very short introduction, and this is an optional video that you do not have to bring into the exam, but it is going over the chapter on the problem of evil. So we talked about theodicies, the three major theodicies, or explanations for how an all-powerful, all-good God could allow evil. We went over the free will theodicy, the soul-making theodicy, and the natural law theodicy. This was chapter 5, the problem of evil. And just to go over, here's Epicurus. Epicurus's challenge. So Epicurus, the Greek philosopher, 341 to 270 BCE, he said regarding the existence of evil, "Is God willing to prevent evil, but not able? Then he is not omnipotent. Is he able, but not willing? Then he is malevolent. Is he both able and willing? Whence then is evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God?" Okay, so it would seem inconsistent for there to be an all-good God who is all-powerful, and yet evil exists. If God's all-good, how is it that evil exists? And so the theodicies that we addressed, the most popular is free will. Well, God allows humans to create evil because God gives us free will. And it would be a greater evil to withdraw free will from us than the evils that are produced by humans having free will. But human free will doesn't at least obviously explain things like natural evils, hurricanes and tornadoes and droughts and diseases. So that leads to the theodicy of the natural law, that God created a universe with natural laws in it, and a byproduct of having laws of physics is that sometimes catastrophes occur. But that without a law-abiding universe that just follows these implacable impersonal laws, humans wouldn't have an arena wherein we can understand the consequences of our actions, and therefore we wouldn't be able to be moral agents. And that would be a greater evil than the evils that result as a byproduct of having a law-abiding physical cosmos. And the soul-making theodicy says God allows evils to give us obstacles to overcome so that we can become better people. So there's flaws with each of those. In this optional video, I want to add another potential theodicy, and it is the idea of God's unconscious mind. So if we are created in God's image, which is what it says in the book of Genesis, which is the foundation stone for the Abrahamic religions, which is what Tim Bayne is primarily focusing on in his book. If we're created in God's image, and yet God is not supposed to have a bodily form, well, in what way are we created in God's image? Well, at least it would seem psychically, that we have a similar psychic structure as God. God is aware of being God, and humans are aware of being conscious beings. Okay, but humans also have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And so a potential theodicy would say, how does an all-powerful, all-good God allow evil to exist? Well, what we call evil is really God's unconscious mind or subconscious mind, like God's dream. And the theistic school of Hinduism, the Vishnu-worshipping school of Hinduism, says that this is Vishnu's dream. Vishnu goes to sleep and dreams, and all the multiverse of universes bubble out of the pores of his skin while he's sleeping, and so God's dream is unfolding in the megaverse of universes. Well, if you subject that idea to a Freudian, Jungian analysis, if this is God's dream, if we're created in God's image and our unconscious mind is a reflection of God's unconscious mind, well, then if you speculate that this material world is God's unconscious mind, that at least provides some kind of a reason for evil to exist. So Freud, and then Jung followed him, said that in civilized society, you have to repress certain animal impulses. Otherwise, you can't have a civilization. You repress them into the basement of your soul, of your mind. Freud was a materialist. He thought consciousness was a byproduct of Darwinian evolution, but he did think we have this subconscious mind the kind of basement of the soul, or again, he didn't believe in the soul, the basement of the mind. So if we are created in God's image, does God have a basement where God represses untoward thoughts? If there's a heaven populated by heavenly people, maybe this world is something like the septic system, the psychic septic system of that world. And when those people repress things to make it a nice and pure heaven, those repressions manifest here. So that is just a potential theodicy. One objection to that theodicy would be, well, how can God be omniscient and have an unconscious mind? That would imply God is not conscious of something. So could God be conscious and unconscious at the same time? Those are kinds of questions. At any rate, I thought it would be worth sharing that potential theodicy.